Tonight on News 5 Live, public officers are out of office and in the streets. Is it climate change or just normal May heat? And Belizean footballers move onto the sand for beach soccer international tournaments. Details of these stories and more coming up in tonight's newscast.
Offside!
Was that a goal? Over.
As we continue to enhance customer experience, the Social Security Board is proposing the use of biometrics. Biometrics is the measurement of a person's unique physical characteristics, such as fingerprints and facial features, used to establish and verify that you are who you say you are. Biometrics will ensure services are provided to the right person at the right time, making customer transactions easier and secure. Identity management with biometrics will be easier. It allows us to quickly and accurately confirm your identity when accessing any of our services, from the moment a person is registered to the moment the payment of a benefit is made. With biometrics, fraud will be minimized by easily identifying those who pose a security risk. The enhancement of customer services to you means no more filling out of forms, no more presentation of an ID, and decreased waiting time. Your convenience and your information security is our priority. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Andrea Polanco, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
Want to leave a lasting impact when you travel? Then travel locally. Make memories to treasure for a lifetime while making a difference. Make protected areas your next travel destination. With over 25 protected areas under the APAMO umbrella, the possibilities for adventure and education are endless. You can bond with friends and family while trekking through the jungles to discover natural pools and breathtaking views. Or take that snorkeling trip to the magnificent world of coral gardens and marine life. Then camp under the stars to end off that perfect day in nature.
By visiting protected areas, you are helping to preserve valuable plant and animal life. You're building local communities and you're keeping our natural and cultural heritage alive.
You have that power. Travel locally and make an impact. We invite you to visit a protected area near you and discover the beauty of Belize's wild places. APAMO, the voice of Belize's protected areas.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Tuesday, May 4th. I am Sabrina Daly. If you went to any government offices today and wondered where the staff was, well, they were very likely on the streets of Belize City. News 5 followed the Public Service Union members from their opening church service to their march on Belize City.
Today marks the first day of strike action for the Public Service Union of Belize. The day began with a church service at the Kings Park Nazarene Church. After service, the PSU, Belize National Teachers Union, the Nurses Association of Belize, and the Association of Public Service Senior Managers went on a march through the streets of Belize City. President of the PSU, Gerald Henry, told News 5 that he was thrilled with the turnout of PSU members, which he estimated to be hundreds from communities across the country.
Unfortunately, the mask is, you're not able to see the smile behind the mask.
because there's a huge smile going from one molar to the other one on the left, right? So it's certainly a pleasure, to see that the sleeping giant is awakening, and I am hoping that there will be no turning back from this point.
Of the three groups, Group 1 and 2 would merge at the Memorial Park before making their way up to Albert Street, turning on to Regent Street, and back on to Memorial Park. Group 2 marched from Yabra onto Central American Boulevard, down Cemetery Road, and ended up back in the Yabra area.
This year we are celebrating 40 years as an independent nation. And if you do the maths, we average about 2 decades of each of our 2 crooked political parties. 2 decades of People's United Party, 2 decades of United Democratic Party. And all that we've gotten for those 40 years is a bukut. Both parties have kept putting bukut on all of us. It is time that we as a citizen come together and stop.
Members of the Belize National Teachers Union have been at it since Monday of last week. And according to President Smith, the pressure being brought by the BNTU has the government exactly where the unions want them to be.
I am sure that our actions thus far has probably pushed them to work a bit faster in terms of the draft Whistleblowers Act. And so while they might not concede that, we believe that our actions thus far and the time that we have been out has caused them to work a bit faster on presenting those draft laws. And we also believe that if we continue with the pressure, that we would be able to get those other drafts, the other draft legislations, long before the 8 months that they have proposed to us in those meetings.
The smallest group to be represented in today's protest were the members of the Association of Public Service Senior Managers. But that is only because APSSM is the smallest union with an estimated 50 members.
People have been asking, so where is APSSM on this? But we are public officers. We're just the leaders of the public officers, so that there would have been no need for us to go and declare whatever, because it has already been declared. We are responsible, and they are expecting us as leaders to be responsible, but we have been supporting the members of PSU. As you know, we are their supervisors, and as you can see, whenever it is I am able to, and there are others who have been partaking, except that we're smaller in number, so we're not as visible as the BNTU and the PSU, but we are in total solidarity, and we've been at the table from day one and will continue to be at the table.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
While members were out in the streets protesting, their leaders were behind closed doors preparing for a mid-afternoon meeting with government representatives. That meeting began at 1:30 p.m. inside the House of Culture compound in Belize City. News 5's Paul Lopez was there and files the following report.
This afternoon, the symbol of union solidarity was marked by union leaders joining hands at the House of Culture's gates. A mass of union members cheered on their leaders who were moments away from entering the negotiation room with government officials. Union leaders held a meeting of their own to strategize.
We just looked over the 11 points that I think you guys probably got some details on, maybe even the actual document itself, and we looked over it to see what were the priority points for us, right? That we would go in there and let the government understand that these are the things that we absolutely will not back down on, and that's the only way that we could probably get into a meaningful negotiation, if they would understand that the seriousness of those priority issues, and give some some leverage for us to be able to get back to the table and end the impasse.
The joint union strike actions are being guided by 11 demands. Among them, unions are calling for the implementation of UNCAC with a timeline and deadlines, good governance legislation, rationalization of public sector, and social partnership agreement.
We are expecting for the best, that in fact government would have heard. We've made it clear what it is that we're asking for. We've always wanted the public to understand that while it is the 10% means a lot to us, it's not just about the 10%. There are many other issues. We understand that sacrifices need to be made, And we've never said we are not prepared to sacrifice. What we've said, if I am going to sacrifice, there are certain things that has to be in place. It can't be that I'm making a sacrifice by giving up a portion of my property so as to be given to somebody else who has come in, has not put in the time. And in fact, those good governance legislation and measures that we've been asking for years.
The joint unions are also demanding the implementation of policies to control the spending of foreign reserves, as well as continued dialogue about the salary cut.
We expect that the government side is going to be coming and presenting some positions to us. Whether it's going to be favorable or not, we're not sure yet, because remember now, whatever they present to us, we have to take back to our membership. So until the membership say yes, then we can say it's favorable.
What is it that they can even present that has not been presented as yet? In fact, is the 10% salary cut still a live issue?
It is. I'm sure you've heard of people saying that they can't afford that 10% and they're still against it. So if it is that the government believes that there's nothing that they can do regarding that, then there are other options, because you can compensate members for what you've taken away from them. And so we have not gotten any definitive position from the government in terms of that aspect of our negotiations.
President of PSU Gerald Henry told News 5 that he is hopeful a resolution will be reached today. And if not, says Henry, the actions will only intensify.
Indeed, I hope that today will be the last day, that we will be entering into this, having this impasse, and we could move forward with what we are supposed to be doing, which is working on behalf of the people and the country of Belize, us as the executive, which is of course 14,000 of us, and then they as the legislative, who are only 31 members, right? But yet we work together. We should work together to build this country and make it a better place, not for ourselves but for our children, as was done for us, by our predecessors.
And if a resolution is not reached today and the meetings continue, what happens tomorrow?
Well, the impasse will remain and the actions will just start to intensify, that's all. We have had some actions so far, but it can get worse. I'll show you, it can get far worse than it is. We are just trying to see how we can limit the damage, if you want to call it that membership is actually pushing them for us to execute.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
News 5 expects to have details of today's meeting in tomorrow's newscast. While songs of solidarity are being sung among union executives, there is a divide on one issue. Among the list of 11 demands that the joint unions are putting forward is that all ministers' allowances be eliminated. Well, President of the APSSM says that her membership has been cautious about going after allowances because public service senior managers are also among those public officers receiving allowances. President Fraser argues that these are important in the line of duty.
My position is in relation to that, and the joint union would have known from the beginning what is my position, that in fact we were very cautious in terms of going after allowances, because it is not just senior managers that get allowance. You have public officers as well who are getting allowances depending on where they are, depending on what offices they're working in. And if you start to go after allowance, you're talking about people who would have given up. In my case, a lot of HODs are talking about 30 years of service, at least 25 plus years of service, who would have worked towards getting those allowance, compared to ministers who come in and the most they would serve, the least, they would serve is a 5-year term, and they end up with all these allowances that it would have taken us years to get to. In addition to that, some of the allowances that we get is actually to assist in doing our jobs as public officers and serving the general public. So if it is you have a public officer, for example, that's getting a commuting allowance, for example, that is to ensure the officer is able to get from wherever she or she is to work to serve the public. I have to say that while my colleagues at the joint table are asking for the removal of all allowances for ministers, that wasn't necessarily my position.
Coming up, the nurses go slow, and BTL signs a collective bargaining agreement with the Belize Communication Workers Union. Details after the break.
Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "In this I pray, that your love may abound yet more and more in knowledge and in all judgment, that you may approve things that are excellent, that you may be sincere and without offense till the day of Christ." Some of the greatest lessons I've learned while attending Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary in Fort Worth was from the fellow pastors I rode 75 miles with each day from Corsicana, Texas. We enjoyed one another and harassed one another unbearably. One day as we arrived at school and got out of the car, I was walking behind a friend when I noticed he was limping and stumbling some. Jokingly, I said, "Clarence, can you walk straight?" He turned around and was furious with me. I apologized quickly, assuring him I was only joking. He hesitantly accepted my apology, but I knew I'd hurt him deeply. Later that morning, I was in the library studying when he sought me out. He said, "Brother Bob, I want to apologize for my behavior this morning. I know you did not know it, but I had polio when I was a child, and all my life boys and girls have laughed at the way I walk. My heart was broken. I apologized again and again, but learned one of the greatest lessons of my life. I learned that day to be careful about what you think and say to people you do not know or understand." To me, the principle is set forth so clearly in Philippians, where the Apostle Paul prays that their love would be according to knowledge. This is a love that never fails. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Trimming the hedges and overgrown trees, packing food supplies, ensuring that you have medical supplies and important documents are all part of your hurricane preparations. But what about your home insurance? An insurance policy with RF&G Insurance gives you the confidence that your home and possessions are protected when a natural disaster strikes. Include RF&G in your hurricane plans and join the thousands of Belizeans who have learned why it pays to get it right. RF&G Insurance is a Roku company.
How is electricity sourced, transmitted, and distributed? We'll explain how we get power to you safely for your everyday use. BEL purchases most of the power you use from independent power producers in Belize and Mexico. The energy we provide to customers comes from a mix of renewable and non-renewable sources such as hydro, biomass, fossil fuel, solar, and a combination of sources from CFE. More than half of the energy produced in Belize is from renewable sources, making Belize #1 in the Caribbean and #2 in all of North and Central America. So how does this power get to your home? High voltage electricity moves for long distances from where it is generated along transmission lines that deliver to substations countrywide where the voltage is reduced. The lower voltage electricity is then transported by power lines to transformers on your neighborhood utility poles. The transformer further reduces the voltage so that electricity can make its way into your homes through your meters. How are electricity rates determined? The Public Utilities Commission, PUC, sets electricity rates on a cost recovery basis. BEL projects the amount of electricity customers will need and the cost of buying and distributing it. Together, BEL and PUC use these projections to do a full tariff review every 4 years and annual reviews. The public is informed of these proceedings, so they have a say. The rates approved by PUC reflects the total cost of BEL to serve customers divided by the entire amount of electricity used by customers. If projections are too high and result in overcollection, rates are reduced going forward. When projections are too low and result in undercollection, rates are increased in future tariff review periods to recover losses. If we buy power from producers that cost less, we can charge less. This is why we are focused on securing new, cheaper sources of energy like solar power. What other solutions do we plan to introduce soon? AMI or smart meters. These provide real-time information on consumption and empowers customers to manage their bills. Solar energy. We are looking forward to adding solar generation to our mix and offer rooftop solar PV to reduce costs and improve reliability. Electric ground transportation. We aim to convert 50% of ground transportation in Belize to electric. By learning how to read your meter, you will better understand how you consume energy and how your monthly bill is determined. Manage your energy use by conserving wherever possible. We continue to serve our customers by keeping you updated and making it easy to reach us anytime from anywhere, whether it's getting information about our programs, connecting new service, providing options to pay your electricity bill, or reporting a hazard. We are always here for you.
So I'm gonna wonder if by chance I could get your number. Digit. Nice.
Of course, you have digital, right?
Yeah, of course.
The truth is, your credit lasts way longer with Digi. Like if you top up with like $30, that could last you 90 days. With the other guys, that must save 60. Then with the other guys, you have to use all of your good prime credit before you even touch your bonus credit. But with Digi, you could use your bonus credit before you even touch your prime credit. Like, what are the point to have free credit if you can't use it how you want? So, what are your number?
Just give me one moment.
The truth is, only Digi offers nationwide LTE coverage, fastest mobile data speeds, and the best call quality.
Overtime for frontline healthcare workers. There are reports that overtime for nurses accrued over the pandemic has still not been paid. During today's protest, News 5 asked Daryl Spencer, the president of the Nurses Association of Belize, whether in fact these payments have been settled.
From the time the nurses are still, the healthcare workers are still disgruntled, it is telling me that what politicians say and what's actually happening in real life are two different things.
Okay. So then are you confirmed that in fact there are outstanding payments for certain healthcare workers?
I do so confirm that there are still persons being owed overtime and are being channeled through little odds and ends as how to collect what is rightfully theirs.
As we said, the nurses were out today in full force, joining the members of the PSU and the BNTU. President Spencer called on nurses from within the public and private sectors to come out in support, because all will be affected by the decision taken by the government. Spencer reiterates that the go slow continues for members of the Nurses Association of Belize and reminds the government that nurses are a valuable talent pool who could easily find work elsewhere.
Shut down or a go slow, don't confuse the two. We will never encourage nurses to walk out of the hospital on a mass exodus. That is what the government will make happen. Because if I cut the nurses' salaries, if I raise taxes in the country, if I raise goods and services in the country, you know what happens, my good brother? The market outside of Belize looks very beautiful, even more so beautiful to the nurse of Belize. Nurses is a commodity in this country, and the way they are being treated is so wrong. We are free to move on. Do we as a citizen want to have our nurses move away. That's what we are fighting for. Get this thing right.
On Monday, we reported on a release dated April 27 from the Belize Energy Workers Union. It spoke to a position taken by the union on the plight of the joint union negotiating team, whose members are on the brink of receiving a 10% salary cut and increment freeze for 3 years. But as we found out, the release was leaked prematurely, as it was not the final draft that was to be issued. Assistant Secretary General Marvin Mora explains.
There is also a document that was a draft, actually, of a press release that we have been presenting to our members to try to get our members to agree on a consensus, majority consensus, for support towards the joint unions and their efforts. However, let me say that the Belize Energy Workers Union will never go to a strike unless we have exhausted all our avenues. And we are far from there. If we ever come to that, it will be the general membership of that union to decide that that is the best course ahead. Otherwise, there is nobody within the union that has the powers to call a strike except the general membership.
But according to Mora, there are aspects of the release that they do support the call for accountability and transparency by the government.
We're concerned about a couple of things, especially how this 10% cut is going to affect our brothers and sisters of teachers union, public service, and APSSM. We're very concerned because we believe that in this type of economy, you don't need to cut cash. This is when you need an infusion of cash. That being said, the other issue is, of course, the good governance platform that this government was widely swept into office. And we are monitoring the progress of the situation as it evolves, and we're trying to gather all the information so that we can make the best decision for our members.
In one bright spot among the union challenges over the past few days, the Belize Telemedia Limited and the Belize Communications Workers Union have signed a 4-year collective bargaining agreement for over 200 BTL employees. According to a statement issued today, BCWU and the management of BTL negotiated provisions between the company and the employees of BTL in dealing with the unprecedented labor and commercial challenges brought about by COVID-19. After the break, Lord Michael Ashcroft saves South African lions, his crusade to prevent animal cruelty when we return. But first, here's a look at the latest COVID-19 figures.
My name is Star, and I'm a Belizean trans man.
Star is a very fun person, very outgoing, a very friendly person, and quite a charming individual, to just spend some time with.
Dalila is a friend of mine. She's one of my only friends that have been very supportive.
I have so much admiration for Star because I was never aware of the kind of discrimination that Star faces for just being who he is and being true to himself.
It's important to have allies that will respect me no matter what.
For me, being trans, being gay, being lesbian, doesn't matter to me, it doesn't.
Live and let live. Respect for all Belizeans.
One year ago, an invisible but deadly virus altered our way of life. Upon assuming my responsibilities as Minister of Home Affairs, over 190 members of the Belize Police Department had contracted the virus, and regrettably, 2 of our heroes in uniform lost the battle on the front line of this pandemic. Today, I can proudly say that there are no reported cases within our department, and this is directly attributable to the phenomenal work of the healthcare workers and the team over at the Ministry of Health and Wellness. We are in this together. I believe in the COVID-19 vaccine. This is our chance, our opportunity, our window to return to normalcy. #GetVaccinated_Belize.
It is my time
to protect your life.
Don't wait to vaccinate.
I believe in the COVID-19 vaccine.
The vaccine is the best way to protect lives.
Don't wait, vaccinate.
Don't hesitate, Belize.
Vaccinate.
Be COVID-19 safe.
If you care,
love them.
Protect them.
Vaccinate them.
Smart continues to expand its internet coverage countrywide to help you live a smarter life.
Our villagers are very happy. They are pleased to know that Smart went the extra mile to put a tower in our village so that our villagers can get live stream on their TVs and they can get their kids doing their online classes. I want to say to Smart, thank you for making it possible for us to get internet in Gardenia Village. We really do appreciate it.
Smart continues to take the internet and mobile services to communities across Belize. Now save even more when you bundle your Smart broadband with Smart mobile services. Smart, bringing people together.
Not be aware of the new travel requirements set in place by the Center of Disease Control and Prevention. Passengers traveling to the U.S. must present a negative COVID test or a documentation of having recovered from COVID-19 to travel to the U.S. In light of this, Maya, in partnership with Caring Hands Clinic, have established testing centers in all their municipal airports. Caring Hands Antigen Test Center is operational in San Pedro, Belize City, Dangrega, Placencia, and Hopkins. These testing facilities are staffed by licensed healthcare professionals, including doctors, registered nurses, and nurse practitioners. Testing is done using Abbott rapid test devices that are FDA approved and made in the USA. The service is safe, fast, affordable, and the close proximity of the centers makes them convenient. Walk-ins are welcomed, but appointments are encouraged. If you would like to make an appointment, please feel free to do so at Make your appointment, get tested, and in 15 minutes, you can get back to your vacation.
Nestle. Start healthy, stay healthy.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Andrea Polanco, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
In crime news, on Monday night, police responded to reports of a shooting in St. Vive Village. Upon arrival, they spoke to Jamal Ariola, who reported a man entered his yard and fired several shots towards his direction. One bullet grazed his upper back. Police are investigating the incident. 3 delivery men are fortunate they were not hurt during an attempted holdup on Monday afternoon in Santa Elena. Police say just before 2 p.m. they responded to reports of a robbery in progress at A&N Supermarket on the George Price Highway. Bowen & Bowen delivery man Simeon Baptist reported that while making deliveries with 2 co-workers, they were approached by 2 men. One held a gun on them, and the other jumped into the pickup cab and tried to open the safe box. When they realized it could not open, the would-be robbers fled on a black scooter. Police later found the scooter crashed in a drain. No one has been detained. You may know him from his business dealings in Belize. But did you know that Lord Michael Ashcroft has also been leading the charge against the breeding and killing of captive lions in Africa? Well, this week, Lord Ashcroft is celebrating as South Africa bans the practice. Lord Ashcroft helped the cause by giving evidence at a high-level panel and sending copies of his book, The Unfair Game, which included undercover investigations into breeders and safari camps to all the panel members. In an article on the website, Conservative Home, Lord Ashcroft says he sent a letter to Minister Creasy in June 2020 condemning the practice, saying, quote, "For years, I and others, notably Ian Mishler and his Blood Lions team, have argued that this barbaric industry must stop. At last, those in power have paid attention," unquote. He goes on to say, quote, "As far as I can tell, the lion trade brings no tangible benefit to the South African economy, either because it is principally a covert, cash-based business overseen by a comparatively small number of businessmen," unquote. In addition to his book Unfair Game, Lord Ashcroft also produced a short film exposing the captive lion hunting industry. Here's a clip from the film of the same name.
Today I can make public the full revelations of my 2-year investigation into South Africa's captive bred lion industry. This cruel trade represents one of the worst crimes against nature that I know of. Thousands of lions are bred in captivity to satisfy the market for hunting trophies and to supply bones to the market for so-called medicines in China and the Far East. In April 2019, I commissioned a new covert operation to expose more appalling practices. I called it Operation Chastise. I recruited several undercover operatives, including former members of Britain's Special Forces. They were based in South Africa for many months, collecting information and evidence. My team successfully infiltrated the dark and dangerous lion industry, a grim business mired in corruption with links to major organized crime networks. They found some truly shocking examples of brutality and illegality. From the outside, the Morrison Ranch in Free State Province, some 200 kilometers south of Johannesburg, might seem a respectable establishment. It is owned and run by 2 men, Awi Moray and Tielman de Villiers. Offering game drives and lion cub petting, it even boasts a wedding venue with its own chapel. Game hunting opportunities range from springbok and ostrich to wildebeest and zebra. However, behind the scenes, the lion cubs are kept in filthy conditions and the adult lions are bred for their bones.
If you would like to watch the full version of Lord Ashcroft's film, it is available on YouTube. But be forewarned, the rest contains graphic images of animal cruelty. In South Africa, up to 12,000 lion cubs are bred for slaughter by hunters who pay up to $50,000 to shoot a fully maned adult male lion. According to Lord Ashcroft, the shocking trade lies, quote, behind the veneer of the respectable tourist industry. Thousands of big cats are beaten, drugged, starved, shot and skinned every year for nothing more than profit. The serial exploitation of these creatures from birth to death and beyond is truly awful, unquote. African safari experiences also include enclosed wild animal hunting of giraffes, baboons, elephants, rhinos, and leopards, which can cost the hunters in the tens of thousands of dollars. When we return, feeling hot, hot, hot. But is this heat normal? The answers from the Met Service when we return. Stay with us.
Why, Tony?
Why, kid, what are you going on, man?
I'm actually going to see we can need to buy a stack of them plastic plates and cups for my grocery shop because I run low.
Boy, I stopped importing that thing since April 15th, you know. And I just routed the last batch, must be about like 3 weeks back, you know.
Man, do I usually have that thing? What are you going on?
Check this, right? Under the new law, we ban all single-use plastics, so that the cups, plates, forks, spoons, and knives, all of that. Since April 15th, can't import none of them. Starting January 15, 2021, you can't manufacture them. April 15, 2021, you can't sell them. And after July 14, 2021, if you get catch with any other thing, you will get fined.
Me never know this. I guess I have to make some changes then. I have to make the customers know that anything not available. Anyways, bro. Thanks, man.
No problem, man. Take care.
Continues to expand its internet coverage countrywide to help you live a smarter life.
Our villagers are very happy. They are pleased to know that Smart went the extra mile to put a tower in our village so that our villagers can get live stream on their TVs and they can get their kids doing their online classes. I want to say to Smart, thank you for making it possible for us to get internet in Gardenia Village. We really do appreciate it.
Smart continues to take the internet and mobile services to communities across Belize. Now save even more when you bundle your smart broadband with Smart mobile services. Smart, bringing people together.
I was 17 and in love, and I thought he loved me too. But now I know that a loving partner should not take away your choice of clothes you wear or the music you listen to. He should not take away your purse, car keys, or your phone so that when your family calls, you cannot answer. If your partner is controlling you, it is domestic violence. Call 0800 A Way Out or our cell phone number 672-9628. This message is brought to you by the National Women's Commission in collaboration with Miss Universe Belize with funding from the Engender and Spotlight projects.
The hot weather is cyclical, and every year around April or May, the heat is on. But if the days seem warmer to you, it is because the temperatures are in the hundreds, and the breeze doesn't help. The heat wave won't let up until Thursday, when it is expected to rain in some parts of the country. But as News 5 found out from Chief Met Officer Ronald Gordon, the sweltering weather condition is normal.
These are the type of temperatures we normally get around this time of the year. We are in the hottest part of the year for us in this country, in the region, especially around Central America, Yucatan Peninsula area. So typically every May, we get this type of heat waves that come across the country. So far, we have been experiencing temperatures in the triple digits, 104, 102 degrees Fahrenheit in the inland areas, and in the lower 90s along some coastal areas of the country. This has been occurring, I believe, since Sunday. We had a peak, and we continue to have that type of conditions lasting today and it will continue at least through tomorrow before we see some changes.
Although we are in the dry season, Gordon says that it cannot be described as a drought because the analyzed data indicates this type of weather will continue up to the end of May, early June. While rains are expected for Thursday and Friday in the south, by Saturday, we will be back to dry weather. The Chief Met Officer gave advice to residents, including farmers, as they continue to monitor the weather conditions.
We have been issuing our heat alerts. We typically do that at this time of the year, especially when our temperatures inland are going in the high 90s. And what we advise residents to do is to try to remain indoors. I know that's not possible for everyone. There are people who naturally have to work outdoors. But we advise people who need to be outdoors, if you can wear clothing, at least a hat or something that will shade you from direct sunlight, do so. And of course, one of the most important things is to stay hydrated, drink plenty of juice, water, avoid, of course, the carbonated beverages, but drink a lot of water and natural juices and that type of thing to remain hydrated. And look after vulnerable persons, the elderly and young children. You don't want to leave them unattended. What we advise our residents, especially farmers, to do is to start to monitor our 4-day forecast, especially to see those changes taking effect now. And then we can gradually see that when the season has started or not.
While the Met Service is urging people to stay hydrated, people's need for water during this heat may be partly to blame for a shortage of 5-gallon water bottles and refills. Today, Crystal Bottling Company acknowledges there are shortages in some parts of the country, causing some customers to have long waits for the size or not being able to get as much as they had requested. They say the hot weather has resulted in increased demand, but they are also experiencing global supply chain disruptions. Crystal Bottling says there is sufficient availability of water products in their other sizes, and they are looking for solutions to the 5-gallon supply issue. Just ahead, they just love to play soccer, but on the sand, Belizean beach soccer when we return. But first, here's the weather forecast with data from the Belize Met Service.
For the best built tools with the best performance and service, Hilti is the brand you can trust. Our warranty program is second to none. Hilti will repair or replace any tool that breaks as a result of materials or manufacturing defects for 20 years. Get 2 years of no-cost wear and tear coverage, including parts. Hilti, the best tools with the best coverage. Available at Benny's Quality and Savings.
The contamination of water we all depend on is a very urgent issue. As Belize's popularity and industries grow, challenges increase. In this episode, we will examine the issue of water pollution in Belize. Water pollution is the contamination of water bodies, usually because of human activities. Water bodies include lagoons, rivers, aquifers, and oceans. On the marine side, the discharge of sewage and bilge water from cruise ships and other live-aboard vessels, in combination with unregulated development of coastal areas, has led to the degradation of marine ecosystems such as mangroves and coral reefs. Our inland waters are facing their own challenges. As agricultural development increases, pesticides, fertilizers, and waste products are running off into rivers. Increased river traffic from boat tours and sugar barges adds to the already stressful conditions of the freshwater ecosystems. In addition, companies that collect sewage sometimes dump the waste right into the waterways. Additionally, in densely populated areas like Belize City and Orange Walk, poor sewage designs result in the contamination of groundwater and of water bodies by both sewage and wash water. In many cases, homes and businesses dump their wastewater directly into drains, which leads to rivers and the sea. Wastewater, detergents, and petroleum collect in drains that empty into waterways, such as the New River and the Belize River. This, along with the runoff and discharges from the agricultural and industrial businesses, have been inadequately monitored and enforced. The answers to overcoming water pollution issues are fourfold: improved infrastructure, adequate treatment, increased legislation and monitoring, and of course, changing our habits for the better. While it is urgent that better management on a policy level is needed, there are a few things we can do at home to help. Ensure proper treatment systems are installed for all wastewater at your home and business. Don't dispose of oil from your automobiles or cooking and household detergents down the drain. And lastly, minimize the usage of chemicals and fertilizers and report any dumping into waterways to the Department of the Environment. The government has recognized the threat of inadequate liquid waste management and is working toward goals of reducing and reversing its effects. For more information on what's being done about water pollution and ways you can help, visit our website at doe.gov.bz. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
Smart continues to expand its internet coverage countrywide to help you live a smarter life.
Our villagers are very happy. They are pleased to know that Smart went the extra mile to put a tower in our village so that our villagers can get live stream on their TVs and they can get their kids doing their online classes. I want to say to Smart, thank you for making it possible for us to get internet in Gardenia Village. We really do appreciate it.
Smart continues to take the internet and mobile services to communities across Belize. Now save even more when you bundle your smart broadband with smart mobile services. Smart, bringing people together.
The Belize National Beach Soccer Team has begun preparing for the 2021 CONCACAF Beach Soccer Championships to be held in Costa Rica between May 27th and 23rd. The Belize team is going up against two top-ranking teams in the region, but they are not phased and are readying themselves for the competition. As News 5's Dwayne Moody found out, the training started from as early as February, with the athletes transitioning from a grass pitch to sand.
For the past few weeks, the National Beach Soccer Team has been in camp at the FFB headquarters in Belmopan, training as a team in preparation for the CONCACAF Beach Soccer Championships, which is a qualifier for the 2021 World Cup.
In April, we started the preparation for the Belize National Beach Soccer Team. We selected 20 players and they started their individual development where they focus on endurance training and beach soccer skills development. After 3 weeks of individual skills development, we had a 2 days recruitment fitness test in Hopkins Village, where we selected 16 players to be a part of a 1 week full camp at the Federation. After the week concluded, we selected 12 players. So the players currently in camp at this moment are 12 players from throughout the country of Belize. These players will be competing in the 2021 World Cup CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers.
The first game is on the 17th of May against Mexico and then on the 18th against Panama in Costa Rica. Mexico is currently ranked number 2, while Panama is in the top 5. So what's the game plan going into the international matches? Well, a sand pitch has been installed at the FFB headquarters and the players are training twice daily.
The difference that we have is that, remember that we don't have a beach soccer league in Belize. So our players most of them come from the BLB. So the transition from grass to to sand, it's a bit difficult. We have been pushing work for the past 2 weeks, and we are molding the guy to adapt to the sand.
Since the players are not given permission to actually engage in contact sports and working in groups, we develop an individual plan for each player, which started on the 16th of February. So they engage in physical activities and technical skills related to beach soccer. So they did that from the 16th of April, and then in March, the middle of March, we actually selected the 16 players who are suited for the system and the formation that the team is planning to work on, right? So we already have those, and now we have the final 12 who are now at the FFB playing ground, the newly constructed beach soccer pitch that we have here. So it is the beach soccer pitch is comparable to other beach soccer pitches in the region, and the students are certainly getting accustomed to playing on the sand, and the sand certainly is something that is uneven, and the players are adapting to that.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5police.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.